Hi everyone, we'll start the presentation just in a couple of minutes. Cool, so I'm conscious of time, so I might just go ahead and get this session started. Thank you everyone for joining. A little bit of a different session right now. So we've got Priyanka from Barclays, who's very kindly going to be talking to us about transforming the bank into an AI first organization. So it's going to be about a 20-minute presentation. Please ask questions as normal. And hopefully we can have some time at the end to get through to some questions. So thank you so much, Priyanka, for presenting. We really appreciate it. And I'll just hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Amina, and welcome to all the participants. We'll be discussing about transforming a bank into an AI-first organization. When we say bank and AI together, it's a little scary, but let's figure out what we can do to start with at least. Okay. So, whenever you want to do any transformation, may it be from a desktop application to a mobile application, may it be from a iOS application to an Android application, any small change, change in your infrastructure, in the way you are processing things from the start, it's something which is very much related to the mindset of your organization. Okay, so I'll be discussing about that first, and then we'll go through few points which I find are very much important from the reading I do or the working style which I experience in my day-to-day life. So let's start with the mindset first. It's very much crucial part when you talk about transformation. Okay. Okay, so I have listed few points here about changing your mindset. Okay, so AI is not something which you can deliver with a waterfall model or some traditional strategy where you know the outcomes very much in advance. You have to learn some strategies, let go of some legacy methods, and be a beginner again. This is something where banks struggle the most. Unlearning here, letting out some legacy method is always scary. It can bring some very much bad parts in reality if you don't do it very carefully. So that is first thing which you need to do if you want to adapt to a AI mindset. You need to be a beginner. You need to be ready to start exploring the world of AI. Then the another part is, I guess, with this automate first strategy, a lot of banks are already there. They are automating a lot of things, lot of processes, lot of operational parts, lot of infrastructure parts for that matter. So that is the thing where you can weigh your organization, whether you are ready or not to take up on the AI challenge. Okay, so then another part which will help you on the AI journey is fast DevOps cycles. We have DevOps cycles, but for one reason or the another, there are some roadblocks in the DevOps cycles where you need a manual attention. So try to get rid of those and have the fast DevOps cycles. Less length of your sprint length should be really less, so that you can deliver those changes very quickly, deal with the errors which AI might introduce in your system very quickly. Another is, having said that, you want to automate, you want to develop fast DevOps cycles, you want to have the AI mindset, you need the right talent. You need to weigh your options on the talent front, whether you want to train your existing talent or you want to hire new talent, whether you want to buy the product or you want to build the product. So these calls you need to take before you really go on the AI journey. Another one is, okay, we are all set. We have the strategy now. We have automation in place. We have good DevOps team in place. We have the right challenge. We have data engineers. We have ML engineers. We have AI engineers. So what next? So this change is not a IT project. This is a organizational change. This is not going to benefit only one department. You can start with one department, but it is always going to be an organizational change. So think about ML as a service. Develop some modules where you will provide your ML solutions as a service to other teams. Develop a AI Ninja team, which will have support from top management so that every team have the to do item in their list that know they have to build the AI solutions. Okay, the AI Ninja team will help every team to get through that line at when the time requires, when they need the help. Then another one is, and very important one, AI is unpredictable. No matter how much you train your algorithm, no matter how many tests you run, it is going to be unpredictable. You cannot control the experience when you implement AI. So develop that risk appetite. Be okay to have some failures. Be okay to get some bad customer reviews. And this is again very difficult if your organization is a bank, a very reputed bank. So this is something which you need to really change so that you can go on a AI journey, develop a good AI strategy based on these mindsets. Okay, this is the most important part in your journey. This is the first step and the most important one. Okay. The next one is we will look at the three important pillars of the AI strategy now. So algorithms, data, and the objective which you set for your AI strategy are the most important ones. The order here doesn't matter. You have to consider every other two aspects when you decide on the one aspect here. So the algorithms, the ML algorithms, which algorithm is suitable for my objective, which algorithm I have suitable data. It's something you need to consider when you talk about algorithm. Similar to data, what data gathering techniques I can use if I am a particular kind of organization. Can I use accounts data? Can I use payments data with consent to client if I'm not a bank, if I'm not a organization who deal with payments data? Okay, so these are some ethical aspects of data which are really getting scrutinized all over the industries for using correct data to respect privacy of our customers. But again, if you want to implement AI, you want to think about your objective and your algorithm and the data sets and the data which you have, which you can use. Okay, and the third one is objective. Objective cannot be very vague. In AI, unlike your other IT projects, you have to have very concise and very clear objective. You need to know what benefits it will bring to my plate, and also, and very much with equal weightage, what will go wrong if it doesn't happen as I expect it to be. As I said, AI is unpredictable, so your objective should also cover what can go wrong when the AI will go wrong. Okay, so let's go through them one by one. I'll start with the objective. As I said, objective can be one of them. These are use cases and not the exact objective words. So you can improve on your products. As I said, AI will help you improve on your products. AI have helped many companies to improve on their products. Okay, LinkedIn have good improvements on their desktop apps as well as mobile applications. They give you a lot of good results using AI. Actually, no matter which website you are using, as soon as you click on the accept cookies, as soon as you go on that website, even just for a visit, your data is getting collected. You can name a single system where the AI is not getting used. AI is the next oxygen, next air for humankind. So you have to improve on your product so that you can inculcate AI in it. Then you can build new products which will have AI at their core. You can automate your operations and processes in very much proficiently than the traditional way of automation using AI. Then you can enhance your customer experience. This is the most used use case of the AI across the industries. You can, for the customer experience enhancement, AI is used really vastly across the industries. Okay, and last but not the least, price optimization. Based on the data you gather, based on the customer experiences you enhance, you will always going to reduce on the price of your product, of your services. So this is about objective. But when I say objective, it has to be concise. These are use cases. So the fear of AI going wrong is lies here in the objective. If you tell your AI algorithm to construct a road, it will not look for any other obstacles coming into the way. It will destroy the cars, it will destroy the houses, it will do anything and everything possible to build the road as you have given it the objective of building the road. So you have to be really careful, really concise, and really mean when you set the objective for your project. Okay. The next one is data. Data is the most crucial thing and most challenged thing when it comes to AI in a bank. The data which a bank holds is really different from what data your Netflix account holds. You are really happy to share the data about what programs you watched, what series you are interested in, which actors you like, which genre you like, but you are very reluctant to share the data regarding your payments. What money you want to spend on your supermarket, how much money you want to send to your friends, send to your family. This is the data which people like to keep very much private. So this can be one of the obstacles in the AI journey. But yes, with correct consents, with correct ethics getting into place in the AI world, we'll be able to get there. So there are a number of ways in gathering and storing the data. There have to be certain data guidelines you need to set for your organization, for your people, for all of your teams when you go on AI journey. So even if your project B is not really gathering the data and using AI, you need to tell the another system, say A system, to adhere to the data guidelines which you have taken into consideration when you are building the AI project. The system A needs to consider the AI aspect of it. We should not invade any privacy of any of our customer. That is very much wrong and more wrong than actually not implementing AI. So coming back to the point, when you say gathering the right data, there are a lot of ways you can gather the data. As I said, user activity data. User activity data is you are visiting a website, you are clicking on a few links, you are coming out without clicking on few links is user activity data. When I say user activity data, the positive and the negative part, you clicked on a link and you didn't click on a link, both of the data sets are equally important for me to train my algorithm. Then there is feedback data. When you ask explicitly about feedback for your website, for your product, for the service which you offered, is the feedback data. Then another third one is third party data. You can buy the data from another product which is already there, or another service which already serving a lot of customers, or the customers which you are targeting. That is third party data. These three kind of data will train your algorithms. More data you have about these three kinds, more effective your algorithm will be. And fourth one is bad data. You are not going to feed your algorithm with bad data. And you are going to correct if you have ever fed your algorithm with bad data. Okay, so if you feed in garbage, you will get the garbage. Data is simple. Algorithms are simple. Garbage in, garbage out. They don't understand anything else. People go mad over about ML and AI when they are at receiving end. But this is how it works. You put in garbage, you will get out the garbage. So this is a continuous process. You need to correct your data time to time, correct your data, get out the bad data, correct it with very good data, train it again and again so that you don't implement it in a bad way. The next one is data security. Now you have the proper data. You have the good set of data now with yourself. But how will you ensure it is stored properly? You have all the consents required for that data to be stored, to be passed on, to be processed. And how will you ensure the security of your data? So these are three questions which every organization need to address in their guidelines before they start their journey, or while they are on that journey before they launch a product maybe. And of course, the data transfers. Between two systems, there are multiple data transfers. So when the cloud computing or cloud storage is uh, new word in the industry. So if you are transferring some data from your account, your organization to a cloud account, how you are ensuring the data security between the transfers is also a very good question which needs to be addressed so that we don't get eaten up by this data and by the algorithms. Okay, this is again very unpredictable, so you need to be very careful with whom you share your data, how you transfer your data, and how you store your data. This is about data. About now you have an algorithm, and you want a data set to train it. This data set you need to decide based on your algorithm and objective. The customer information data or a KYC data will not be that useful when I am proposing a wealth management solution to one person. I have to look at his accounts or similar customers' accounts to suggest him a solution. Okay, so the data set, decision on data set is again based on your data, your present data, your customer, and your objective. We talked about errors and quality. Data is simple, garbage in, garbage out. You have to be very careful with the bad data part, which I discussed. You don't feed your algorithm with bad data. If you find out that you have some bad experience, you need to correct your algorithm by feeding it with more correct data, more accurate data. Okay. So moving on, we have algorithms. Algorithms is a quite black box when you are coming from management background, when you want to start the AI journey, but you cannot lead something when you don't know something. So to give you a short brief, I'll start with the algorithms, but I would suggest that you go and read about it, take a course for that matter, be a beginner, and you will find out there are multiple use cases where your algorithms can improve, where your algorithms can do better job than the ones which are already existing. Okay, so algorithm is again very much related to your objective. You need to choose right algorithm based on your objective so that your objective can be achieved. Another point is metrics and measurement. You cannot judge an algorithm or judge an implementation of algorithm based on the same parameters which you judge your traditional systems. If you see the algorithm is not doing good, you have to iterate it over. You need to make it good. You need to feed in more data. You cannot give up because the algorithm is not working fine, because the algorithm brought you $100 of losses. Okay, the traditional metrics and measurements don't apply to the AI projects. You need to improve on them as well. You need to set new matrices and new measurements to measure success of AI algorithm. The team or the people who are resilient to change will oppose your algorithm based on the traditional ways they use to measure the success of your system. So that is not going to happen. This is not an overnight journey. You need to have good data in place. You cannot guarantee the success. If you find your algorithm is failing because of the data, because of the less training, you need to iterate vigorously. More data, more accurate results. You cannot just go with one round of data, or the data which you might think is correct amount of training, and apply the same matrices and same measurements as you do for traditional systems. It has to be new matrices and new measurement system to be in place for the AI projects. Okay. Just to give you a gist, I'll talk about three algorithms. When we see the AI progressions nowadays, it's the use cases with these algorithms which are changing. These algorithms are really old, but the use cases, the implementation, the efficient systems, efficient hardware, efficient infrastructure which we have today is giving these algorithms the really good time that they are having right now. Okay, so to start with, supervised learning algorithm. So when you say supervised learning algorithm, you already know the labels of your data. So for example, in emails, you know that there can be two categories: spam emails and non-spam emails, useful emails. So the labels spam and not spam are already known to you. This is supervised learning. You can divide your data beforehand. You know the labels beforehand is supervised learning. The unsupervised learning algorithm is something of Netflix kind, where you go on Netflix, you search for something, and then Netflix, based on your searches, create its own labels. That this person prefers comedy, prefers horror films, prefers some science fictions. So on the basis of your search, on the data which you have fed in, it will suggest the labels for you. So that is unsupervised. We don't know the labels before starting the project. And the third one is reinforcement learning. This is used when your unsupervised learning doesn't work, when your supervised learning doesn't work. Reinforcement learning is that algorithm learns on its own. You give it rules, only rules, no data, no customers, and it will learn on its own. The famous example of this is AlphaGo. The Go player, world champion Go player, is defeated by a computer program, a AI program, in 4 hours. It trained itself over a lot of iterations. You can get the actual numbers on internet, but the common thing here is rigorous iterations on top of very good data. It played number of matches with itself before defeating the world champion. It gave you unpredictable result, and that's how human fail to a robot. Okay, but that can be utilized in a really good way, in a really good case, where humans will be you will not be able to teach, will not be able to serve better. You can take help of it, but having said that, you have to have your objective clear. If you give a vague objective, you can predict the AI algorithm to go mad. Okay, this was about algorithm. The third one is, as I given you an example, AlphaGo was one part. AlphaGo defeated a human in a game. There are multiple factors to it. These three pillars of AI, data, algorithm, and the objective, when all these three will get automated, your AI will be fully automated. It can give itself new objectives, get data which it requires, and algorithm it already have. So when all these three will get automated, the robots will rule. But do you think it will get automated at all? You can answer in the chat box. But by that time, I'll walk you through a few examples where one part of the other is getting automated right now. So there are AutoML, cases which is AI for AI. It learns labels out of your data. It helps you choosing the algorithms. Then you have automating data transfer learning, where your system doesn't really uses your own data. It takes help from Wikipedia and suggests some good sources or suggest data sources such as places and recommend you better places based on Wikipedia data, not the system data. You don't train your algorithm based on your own system's data. You don't need to gather it. Okay, that is transfer learning. And then there are generative adversarial networks, deep net architectures, where these two things, AutoML and automating data, are coming in one place. But it is again a research topic. You can get more information about it. The last point of my discussion today, and the major roadblock why the banks are not going on AI journey that vigorously than another edtech or supply chain management companies, is ethics of AI, democratizing the AI. Whenever you launch a transformation journey, you need to have some ethics, some rules to that world. So with ethics in place, with some rules in place, banks will get on this journey. But till that time, it is difficult to get on this journey as we have real money to handle and real people to answer to. So this is it from my end, and we are open to questions now.
Thanks, Priyanka.
Yeah,
I think we have one question that's come in here that says, how do you make sure that data centricity is a bank-wide culture rather than an IT domain? Is there any examples that you can share on how to make AI wide accessible across departments?
Okay. So as I said, AI is a organizational change. It is a mindset change, and it has to be a top-down. It has to be dealt with a top-down approach. Get buy-in from your management. Get buy-in from topmost management you can. That will bring a lot of teams together, lot of directors together to think about it. And when your management pushes it, your teams tend to have the things implemented. I know there are a lot of work items already on your plate, but having it as one step, taking this as one step at a time, as we have taken the automation, as we have taken DevOps approach, as we have transferred from waterfall model to agile model, will help. This will actually get your organization at one place. And once your organization is having that one mindset, you will be able to find solutions for central location of your all data. There will be restrictions. The data will not be shared as easily as you do, as you can see it in entertainment industry or educational technology industry. But at least the data storage will be at the central place. I hope I answer your question.
Thanks, Priyanka. And this last one here, what are some transfer learning drawbacks in terms of data privacy and regulation for commercial utilization, if you can answer that one?
Okay, so on the data privacy part, as I said, in banks, it is really crucial that you don't really share the data. So the decision of buying versus building in-house, I think bank needs to go with the building option. Buying something is where we share the data with third party, with some other systems. I know it's difficult to building something on your own, but you need to get in with some negotiations here where you don't really share the data with some third party. That way you can enhance the privacy of your data. You keep that data in your systems and don't transfer to another systems. This can be one of the approach, but you can get more solutions on the internet.
Great, thanks, Priyanka. We just got one more question here, actually, from Curtis. How do you ensure that you have high quality data or have sufficiently cleaned it?
Oh, that's a very good question. As I said, there are multiple ways you can gather your data. It's user interaction data, feedback data, or third-party data. And there will be errors in your data. So you need to have a very efficient team of data scientists, ML engineers, and AI engineers who will work in one team to ensure your data is very good data before you even feed it to any algorithm. So data scientists will let you know what are the trains of your data, but they'll also be able to figure out what are the errors in your data. So these are the people who can give you the proper answers on very much. There are a number of techniques on cleaning data, getting the right data for you, but there has to be a balance. In order to clean it, you don't need to lose on very good data as well.
Amazing.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Priyanka, for that amazing presentation. Thank you everyone for joining. I think there are a couple of sessions that are still ongoing and a lot more going on this afternoon. So thanks again and enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you, Amina. Thank you for the opportunity and thanks to all participants who joined in.
Thanks, Priyanka. Bye.
Bye.